Honestly, this week for gaming news is not slowing down, and I do suspect it's only going to ramp up this year, and it's looking pretty busy for all of us Xbox gamers. This week, we've seen some updates on Xbox projects that have had their funding pulled, some OG Xbox games might be available via backwards compatibility over on PC, and with PlayStation pulling physical games, Xbox might have a brand new feature that could change the game within the physical space. But more on that later. With that, my name is Fletcher, and welcome back everyone to Xbox Nation, and let's just dive right into it. It has now been 2 full weeks since Call of Duty Vanguard joined Xbox Game Pass, and it looks as though Xbox has begun making preparations for another Call of Duty title to finally make its way to Xbox Game Pass sometime within the near future. As you may remember, a few videos back I did actually cover that Vanguard appeared in the Microsoft Store over on PC, and that it could potentially be coming to Game Pass. Lo and behold, it actually did, and with that, it once again has been spotted with Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and this one appears to have gotten the same treatment. Up to this point, Xbox only supported the console version of Cold War, and a move like this usually does indicate it's likely going to appear on Game Pass within that near future. Now, it is worth noting that Vanguard did take a whopping 2 months to actually get on Game Pass from that point in time of it being listed on the store, but every single Call of Duty game we've seen so far going to that Windows Store page have actually come to Game Pass at some point in the future. Estimates are now looking with this one probably about August actually. I know some of you have actually been asking for Cold War to be joining Xbox Game Pass in the comments, so yeah, some pretty positive news for you all for this week. As is typical with the news and with me making these videos as of late, Xbox are of course scheduling that very big reset they keep mentioning, and we've seen a ton of rumors and speculations and even fake news now regarding layoffs, studio closures and the such. Well, one area of news that has now been fully confirmed is that Xbox are deciding to pull back funding on certain projects. However, it's not all bad news, but let's check it out a bit further. The first of these games, and one you may have come across, is a game called 1666 Amsterdam, which is a brand new story-led action-adventure title, and this was shown off at the Summer Games Fest before launching in that demo early access period. This one is also a project from the original creator of Assassin's Creed, so yeah, it is pretty noticeable of course. Following on from this, there was a report from Stephen Totillo over at GameFile, who has a pretty strong track record at the moment, and he does mention that this was going to be an Xbox published title, potentially an exclusive, before Microsoft cut the funding. This does kind of suck as the game has been praised so far within that small demo, but it is worth noting it looks a long way out for sure, especially with how it plays and the bugs and stuff like that. It's not the most noticeable cancellation, but hey, it could have been a good one, and I do suspect it was just taking a bit too long for Xbox at the moment. Another project which was in the works, which many of you probably know of by now, was called Project Fantasy. This was the brand new game which was coming from 007 First Light and Hitman developer IO Interactive. Well, some news dropped on Twitter, and IO basically confirmed that funding from an external partner has been pulled, and they're now having to adapt to this new reality and the short-term consequences, but are ultimately still committed to releasing the game in the future. Now, this external partner was Xbox. I mean, we've heard it from different leaks, rumors, and now it has been confirmed. They actually came out themselves with a statement to sort of quench the fire a little bit, and here's what they had to say. Xbox is taking a fresh look at where we invest, so we're focusing on our highest priorities. We're not reducing our overall investment in games, we expect to invest about the same in content as we did last year. What's changing is where we're investing and the kinds of projects we're backing. To me, this kind of seems like Xbox may have pulled out because A, the game just was taking too long in development and they wanted to cut their losses, or on the other hand, B, the game wasn't that good and Xbox just really didn't see the vision anymore. Obviously, both can be true, or there could potentially be another option I don't really know of. Either way, Xbox would have crunched the numbers on this one and done some thinking about it before pulling their funding, but obviously, if they're putting the same investment in other games and it's not a reduction like many think, then yeah, it was probably just the game itself. If you remember, Xbox were also funding games like Hideo Kojima's OD Knock, and as it stands, that one is still funded and Xbox are keen to see it through. I know you Hideo Kojima fans can stop sweating now and take a sigh of breath. Either way, here's a little bit of notable news which I wanted to highlight, as there are a couple new projects, but yeah, it's not inherently bad, but it's good to hear from Xbox that they still want to invest more moving forwards. Talking about the future though, Physical Bros, I am so sorry about this next bit of news. As many of you are well aware by now, PlayStation just made one of the biggest gaming announcements we've seen in utter years, and it will completely change the future of how you play physical games. Sony has now confirmed that from January 2028, brand new PlayStation games will no longer be released on disc, and that everything moving forward will be digital only, and of course now all eyes are pointing towards Xbox. Sony has says this is simply the natural direction for the industry. They did claim that consumer demand for digital games now massively outweighs physical media. I think we've seen reports, I believe on PlayStation about 80% and 90% over on Xbox, so it's pretty high. So from January 2028, every new PlayStation release will be sold digitally, whether that's through the PlayStation Store or retailers selling digital download codes. Of course, there's some skepticism about that because PlayStation did take codes away and stuff like gift cards. I don't really know how it's going to work, but hey, we'll just keep our eye on it. Existing games and titles releasing before that date though won't be affected, which is good news at least. But after 2028, physical PlayStation discs are effectively finished. Now, I will say it isn't completely surprising. As I mentioned, physical sales have been declining for many years now, and we've already seen Sony pushing digital consoles so much harder with this PlayStation 5 generation. However, making it official is still a huge moment for the industry. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that PlayStation were the first ones to do it and not Xbox themselves. I mean, we saw Xbox trying to push this at the Xbox One reveal, for Christ's sake. Ultimately though, why should all of us Xbox players really care about it? Well, because Xbox has been surrounded by rumors for months that the next generation console, currently codenamed Project Helix, might also launch without a built-in disc drive. We have seen multiple reports on it now, and I do think many of us on Xbox are digital anyway, so it doesn't really feel like really big news within our sort of realm. Both PlayStation and Xbox could be fully embracing a digital future, and yeah, I'm kind of skeptical on it, to be honest. However, I will say Xbox might actually have one advantage that PlayStation doesn't, and it's quite interesting. Recent reports from both Windows Central and The Verge do suggest that Xbox is actually working on a brand new disc-to-digital system. The idea is surprisingly clever if they can pull it off, and if they can achieve it, it's a massive W for consumers and a big benefit to owning an Xbox console. Essentially, it means that you would insert an Xbox One or Xbox Series X game into a compatible Xbox, but then Microsoft would grant your account a digital license that's actually tied to that specific disc. This means you could install and play the digital version without constantly relying on the disc, and if that game supports Xbox Play Anywhere or even cloud gaming, you'd also gain access to those features as well. It really is just such a pro-consumer move. Even more interesting is that if you lend or sell the disc to someone, that digital entitlement would transfer with it, meaning ownership still follows the physical copy instead of creating unlimited free digital licenses. And it means that pre-owned market as well for stores like CEX here in the UK, or being able to give a copy to your friend or selling it on eBay, would still exist. If Microsoft, as I mentioned, does get this right, it could be one of the smartest ways we've ever seen of preserving physical ownership while still moving towards that dreaded digital future. Personally, I still love collecting physical games, especially my special editions. I mean, you probably see it up there. I got the Recall one, I got an Elex one behind there, and I've even got like the physical discs for the Lord of the Rings Lego, which you can no longer get. I love collecting them, and seeing companies moving away from discs is a little disappointing, as I'm all for full ownership. Ultimately, if the future really is digital, Xbox's rumored disc-to-digital system could definitely soften that blow and offer something genuinely consumer-friendly. I'm just glad we're on this side of things, especially compared to Team Blue right now. The big question now is whether Microsoft sticks with a disc drive on Project Helix or follows Sony completely to an all-digital future. What do you think though? Would you miss physical games, or have you already gone full digital? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, in some awesome new details, with just over a week to go until the release of Assassin's Creed Blackflag Resynced, Ubisoft has pulled back the curtain today on the Xbox Series X and S versions of the game, and they've confirmed all the important resolution and FPS details. As shared by Access the Animus over on social media, you can see with the image on screen now that AC Blackflag Resynced will run at 1620p upscaled on the Xbox Series S with 30 FPS frame rate, and it also has standard use of ray tracing, which is awesome to see for the little console that definitely punches above its weight sometimes. The Xbox Series X version has 3 different options. You have a 30 FPS, 40 FPS, and 60 FPS. All of these are 2160p, so 4K upscaled, and both have balance and fidelity modes featuring an extended level of ray tracing, depending on what you kind of want to see. Unfortunately, we don't have any actual footage at this moment in time of the Series X or the Series S versions, but I do expect we'll see some more stuff on the horizon. The best way to be notified with that though is with a subscription below, and of course hitting that bell icon. This year is of course Xbox's 25th anniversary, but amid all of the noise surrounding layoffs and the studio closures, there's now a hint at Xbox's plans for backwards compatibility when it comes to PC. The hint comes from Reddit, where earlier this year they posted about an invisible Xbox handheld tag, and it did appear on 5 console-only titles, 3 of which have since arrived on PC. Interestingly, the Redditor claims that 2 original Xbox titles, being Crimson Skies and Fusion Frenzy, now have that invisible Xbox handheld tag actually added to them. It's a little bit vague and in no await a confirmation that either of them will be playable for the Xbox PC app, but it is certainly worth pondering, especially if we consider what Xbox's VP of Next Gen, Jason Ronald, had to say at GDC earlier this year. Perhaps it does offer a glimpse at what the backwards compatibility team has been working on. I mean, it would certainly make sense to see legacy Xbox titles arrive on PC, and that older hardware requirements should make them a natural fit for the Xbox handheld devices. I mean, if Project Helix is meant to be that sort of fit between PC and console, then yeah, they have to get it right at the end of the day. What game would you like to see backwards compatible, or are there any missing that you would like to see? Personally, I'd just love to see Singularity come back, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do like this video as well whilst down there, and subscribe for more Xbox content every single day. A big shout out to our channel members, and to our Xbox Nation commanders, Another Orphan, Shadow Wesker 1, and Daniel Scott. Whilst here though, do make sure to check out the video on screen now if you want to check out the 15 best open world games to play right now with your Xbox Game Pass subscription.